Welcome. Hi, I'm Darrel Bowman, and I'm here with Mel West, and I want to thank you for joining us today and every day from Tuesday, noon to 1 for BizTechTalk. We're hosting discussions with local and national business leaders.
Throughout our show, we'll be talking to a variety of high-tech professionals and latest technology business trends, which are happening today and coming tomorrow. And
man, we switched that up, man. That's all righty then. Okay, hey, I want to thank it. We had a great show these last few days, and we're finding out, that our numbers are increasing every week. And hey, thanks so much to you listeners out there for listening in, downloading our podcast, and so forth. We're really excited about the things that we did. And, last week Ron Hansen was on, and he just told an amazing story of, triumph over adversity.
Well, speaking of triumph over adversity, I think the story that he actually told after the show about the Cobra was probably even better. So.
Oh, no, he told us about the decoy during the show. He did.
He talked about the decoy, but the what would you call it? The bathroom break.
Oh, yeah, well, that's a different story. Yeah, that was another Cobra story. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was a different one. Yeah. Anyway, we really did have a good time out there, and we want to always recall that one of the things we always think about is that we're talking about and thinking about our veterans and what they've done for this country and so forth. So the things that we want to make sure is the folks out there, when they're looking for services and when you're looking for a place to have somebody perform a service or buy a product, seek out a veteran-owned business, because they're out there sacrificing yet again by developing a job and sometimes their sanity by creating a new business, which they hope is going to be successful, just like every other entrepreneur out there.
Exactly. And, Darrel, we try not to be too, what would you say, political here, but, I was doing some research and I come across the presidential memorandum supporting veteran employment and reemployment across the federal workforce. And it was published last month. And, one of the things that I think we want to talk about and remind the businesses that are listening out there is about the American Jobs Act that was signed in November of 2011.
Oh, this is where we get some, you actually get some tax credits for hiring those veterans. We've talked about that in the past, where it's up to $10,000 for a veteran. Well, and that is an awesome opportunity to make sure that, get those veterans hired. So if you're thinking about hiring somebody out there, turn to all the resources that we talk about all the time. Yeah, and those are at dva.wa.gov has a list of the resources as long as.
And you can find that article when it talks about streamlining the processes. There's several resources actually for our veteran friends out there that are looking for jobs as well on some of the different programs that are available for them, and that's
WorkSource. Remember, they're always doing a thing
as well.
Goodwill has a program. We talked about that. So hey, there are lots of folks out there helping out, and we appreciate everybody's efforts.
Right, and it's one of those things that I think that our men and women that have supported us have done a great job, and it's time for us to give back to them and support them while they are coming back, trying to get reestablished back in the civilian community.
And for those people that have, they've given more than just their service and they've given a piece of themselves and come back with some disability or something like that, we do appreciate that, and we want to do what we can do to help out. And on behalf of the VA hospital out here in Lakewood, the American Lake Veterans Administration, they have a golf course. And on that golf course, a lot of people really get their lives turned around because, they've got some issues and concerns. And I've actually, met many people who were suffering from severe anger, PTSD issues, and now they've calmed down on that course, and it's just it's a life saver for them. And so there's a lot of effort going on to modify that course and put some money into it. And so Jack Nicholas put his efforts forward to redesign a whole new course, and that was all for free, and really wonderful man coming out.
There's going to be a new back nine.
Yes,
so they'll have a full 18 holes out there. But it's a great course, and you think about when we go out there, it's kind of frustrating when we're golfing and we're doing horrible. But for somebody that maybe can't walk or that's suffering from PTSD and be able to go out there,
great carts out there for them.
And it's people that understand. They've been there. They're all volunteer. It's a volunteer ran organization.
And there's a golf tournament is what I'm getting to this September 14th. It's a 9/11 tournament, and the best way for you to participate is to call up the VA golf course and say, hey, I'd like to participate. So call 253-589-1998 and ask them how you can participate and help donate money and or hey, golf that day and, spend some time with one of our vets out there and, help us reach the goal that they need to do to finish that course.
Well, and you've spent a little bit of time on the course this summer, so it's a great course. It's something that you can go out and walk. And dang, Darrel, by looking at you, not only is this diet working, but walking around the golf course is definitely working for you. What are you down, 20 pounds?
Oh, almost 25, and it's feeling really good. I'm back where I was when I was in college, for God's sakes. I mean, down there quite a bit, so I'm feeling
pretty
really
sharp.
Good.
So
that picture on our website just does not. We might have to get some new shots as per our photographer.
Well, that sounds good. Speaking of our photographer, why don't we go ahead and pay some bills, take a break, and we'll come back and we'll bring on our guests. And you're listening to BizTechTalk and Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Few things say more about your business than the quality of the photos in your ads and on your website. Corporate photographer Rick Doms specializes in custom photography for discriminating corporations around the world and right here in Tacoma. Rick's photos have graced the pages of Forbes, Fortune, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and the marketing materials of a host of great American companies. Companies like yours. See what Rick Doms photography can do for your business on the web at rickdoms.com. RICKDAHMS.com.
Are you tired of maintaining or upgrading your business technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office N and Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office N and Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at OfficeNandIcon.com.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM Business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at AimBiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to AimBiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Welcome back to BizTechTalk. I'm Darrel Bowman.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
And we're on Clay 1180 every Tuesday noon to 1. Don't forget to visit us at BizTechTalk.net. Listen to our shows, download our podcast, email us with your comments and suggestions at info@BizTechTalk.net. We're also on Facebook, we're on Google Plus, and we're on YouTube and things like that. So come on down, check us out, and let us know what you're thinking about. We really do want to know what you're thinking and what kind of shows that you want to hear out there. And today, we're going to be talking to our guest, who is Anthony Hempstad. He's the president and CEO of the World Trade Center in Tacoma. Since he joined that organization in 2009, their membership has quadrupled, making it one of the most dynamic of the 330 World Trade Centers around the globe. That is impressive. Originally, he's been from Washington State University, not Washington State University. I apologize for that. Yeah, he's got a very large career, a wide-ranging career of public policy, and he was a research analyst for the Washington State House of Representatives. Went to D.C., worked for a few senators on covered trade and policy issues. He moved to Europe after the fall of communism in 1990. Spent about 12 years there. He's also one of the founding faculty members and taught politics and government for the first private college in post-communist Czechoslovakia. I believe that's where he met his wife as well.
Yep.
And he later founded his own consultant company, and he grew that to be one of the largest public affairs firms in Central Europe with over 40 staff in 4 countries. Now, that's pretty impressive, so he definitely knows a little bit about world trade. His firm's clients have included many leading international companies as well as local firms and nonprofits and government. After returning to the Washington state, he served as a city manager for Maple Valley, so he knows a little bit about government as well. And so in 2009, he joined the World Trade Center in Tacoma. He's got his degree from University of Puget Sound and his master's from London School of Oriental and African Studies and the London School of Economics, and his MBA from Chicago. And he's pretty well traveled. So wow, welcome to BizTechTalk. What an impressive history you've assembled in such a short time. With all that world experience, it seems no surprise that you'd be leading one of the top trade centers on the planet. So tell us, Anthony, are there a lot of people in our communities around the United States who don't understand the full importance of international trade? And if that's true, how do we help them out?
Definitely, Darrell. And first of all, great to be here, and great to meet both of you, and to talk to you guys and your listeners. But international trade, it has huge potential, I think, for helping to bring the United States out of the kind of the economic doldrums that we're in right now. And when you look at trade as a comparison, as a percentage of the overall economy here as opposed to most other countries, it's much lower, and so there's a lot of room for growth, and by exporting, that's kind of a stimulus that
we get all kinds of power coming in. Well, we're a Pacific Rim country, if you will,
right.
and we're just not throwing enough out, I take it.
Right. And part of it is because most companies don't even think about exporting in the United States because we're such a huge country, and so you think, okay, well, maybe I'll sell, if you're a Lakewood company, maybe I'll sell in Thurston County or I'll go up to King County, but they don't think about, oh, I could actually sell the same thing in South Africa or Russia or China. And sometimes the products or services, because it can do services too, are marketable and might have a market advantage in a different place than where you are right here and right now. And so it needs to be figured into the business plans of companies, both big and small, I think.
So it's really a challenge here. So tell me about the World Trade Center Association and how is that related to the Twin Towers? Is it?
Right. And a lot of people have heard of the World Trade Center, but they don't actually realize that we're part of a big group. But the Twin Towers, that World Trade Center, that was our association headquarters. And we're still headquartered in New York, in a different building. It'll go back into the Freedom Tower, also called that will be called the World Trade Center once it's done. But there are 330 cities around the globe that have World Trade Centers. Tacoma has the only full service World Trade Center for the whole Pacific Northwest, and so that's pretty helpful to Tacoma, I think.
So how widespread are we throughout North America?
Yeah, there are about 30 World Trade Centers in the U.S. And so not every state has one, but many states do, and there are several down in California, a big cluster on the East Coast, but for full service, we're at here in Tacoma.
So we service a lot of communities out there, and the other people around the country and so forth. How do they find their World Trade Center and know who to work with?
Right. Well, no matter where people are who are listening to this, worth just going to the web and doing a search for your local World Trade Center. The closest ones to here that actually have services are there's one in Montana to the east. There's one in Anchorage to the north. Several in California to the south.
So are they closely coordinated, all these activities between all these different locations?
Realistically, we probably should be more coordinated than we are.
It's like any organization.
Yeah,
right? But we work on it.
Yeah, but the programs and the individual offices are fairly localized to what's needed in the local community, but the association is trying to harmonize things a lot more. They hired a director specifically to work on East Asia because there's so much growth going on in East Asia. When I joined the World Trade Center a little over 3 years ago, there were 3 World Trade Centers in China. Now there are 33.
Whoa, that's quite a few.
Yeah, so it's
There's one
booming.
for everyone we have.
Well, yeah,
Pretty close.
it is, and as a rule, they're in cities of 5 million and over, and
That tells you there's a lot of 5 million or over cities over there.
Yeah, exactly, and
What do you do with the
It's a
billion
lot
people?
of opportunity.
no,
in
it is.
China.
It's just stunning. The largest buildings in both Beijing and in Shanghai are World Trade Centers.
Well, I was just talking to somebody last night who is working in a stem cell research in China, and she said it's more like the wild, wild east.
No, it is. It is.
Well, and
no,
the rate of speed that they're growing and the way they build those buildings, the speed.
yeah. It's incredible. No, we work with friends business partners who are from Shanghai, and they say that every time they go back, it's a new city. It is just changing so quickly.
So there's
Anthony-
a lot of a lot of change in the world and going on and so forth. Are we opening more here locally to match what's going on around?
There are some that are opening. The difficult economy of recent years it's actually led to a net loss of World Trade Centers in North America. As we're public-private partnerships generally, there are different business models for different World Trade Centers. But as public support has dropped, and sometimes private support has dropped as well, some World Trade Centers have decided to close their doors. So we're dropping in North America. We're growing in other parts of the world.
Well, one of the ways to maybe grow is to tell us a little bit about the nuts and bolts of the World Trade Center and what you guys do, how you support the businesses, the communities out there.
Right. And our slogan here at the World Trade Center Tacoma is "We grow trade," and that's what we do. Is we through a variety of different ways we try to plug local companies in with foreign opportunities or international opportunities, and that can be trade matchmaking. So a local company here wants to find someone to trade with in another country. They also may need some help with deciding what country that they would like to trade with. Trade research. Trade missions. For instance, we're doing a trade mission to Vietnam later this year. We also do trade training. We do something every month on a different educational event or educational opportunity about trade.
So I've got a real quick question. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but that's an awesome with awesome. A lot of things that you guys are doing, but I'm just wondering, with all these different places and all these different countries that we're interacting with, how does a business like mine, who has something to sell, know what country to go to sell their services and products? Is that something you're going to help them with as part of those nuts and bolts?
Yes, definitely. And we do sit down with our members and talk through what they're thinking about doing, what they would like to do, and also if they have a connection with a country overseas, if they've immigrated from someplace or have relatives back in a country. So sometimes
let's just say they have no connection whatsoever, and you're coming there. Do you help them find the pulse?
Yes, we do. And that's the advantage of having 330 offices around the world too, and that. And even the U.S. Commercial Service, which is part of the U.S. government, and they have offices.
What's the U.S. Commercial Service?
It's part of the U.S. Department of Commerce, and it's the section that deals with international trade, and they're very helpful, and they're a close partner of ours on many things. They have offices in 80 embassies around the world, and so they can be helpful as well. But we actually have offices in many more places than even the U.S. Commercial Service.
Well, kind of going back to what Darrel was saying, as a business owner, it's pretty daunting just to be in business locally here.
Right, and now we're going to add an international.
How do you make
aspect.
that jump? I mean, how do you say, well, I've got this product, and is that something that you guys help them with?
Yes,
yes. And how do you do that?
Right. It's very tough to do if you're on your own, and if you've never done it before, if you haven't worked in international business, and that's one reason so few companies actually bother to work international business into their business plan. They just say, no, I can't do it. As I say, it's too confusing. But working with a group like the World Trade Center, or there also the SBA, the Small Business Administration, has some great programs as well.
And you help interact with the Department of Commerce.
Yes.
I mean, how does that? Yeah. How's all that parlay into? I don't understand.
Yeah, there are both public and private partners that we work with, and that we recommend that small businesses work with as well. And there are different. Sometimes companies can fit into the programs that exist. Sometimes they can't, but still, even if they can't fit into existing programs, we can still help them along their way.
When you say programs, what kind of programs are we talking about?
Yeah, currently, for instance, there are something called a STEP grant that's available for up to a $5,000 cash reimbursement for companies who are exploring doing business internationally on a trade mission and the like. And we can talk about that more later.
Well, that sounds like a good time to take a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and take a break, and you're listening to BizTech Talk and Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
In today's economy, doing more with less has become the standard. Feeling overwhelmed or out of control does not have to be part of that standard. If you are looking for improved profitability and better teamwork, West Business Concepts' expertise in sales, organizational development, and finance offers real-world solutions today. West Business Concepts helps you develop clarity and focus on who matters most. Gain an edge over your competition. Visit westbusinessconcepts.com today. That's westbusinessconcepts.com.
I know you've been thinking about adding video to your website. Don't put it off any longer. Your customers are about 75% more likely to purchase your product after learning about it in a video. Gabe Medina Productions is ready to help you put a face to your business and show your customers why your company is the better choice. We want to work with you because we want to see your business grow. Go to GabeMedinaProductions.com or call 206-250-0735 for more info. That's 206-250-0735.
Be a part of Tacoma's Waterfront Association, a dynamic organization dedicated to making Tacoma's waterfront a great place to visit and do business. Join them the second Wednesday of each month from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Crow's Nest at the Tacoma Yacht Club to hear exciting guest speakers and see what's happening on the waterfront. Be a part of the community strength. Make a difference along Tacoma's magnificent 46 miles of waterfront. For more information or to become a member of the Tacoma Waterfront Association, visit tacomawaterfront.org.
In Pierce County, 17% of residents are food insecure. That's 1 in 6 people who are unsure where their next meal is coming from. Someone you know is going hungry. What can you do about it? Help support Fish Food Banks of Pierce County. For every dollar received, Fish's 8 food bank locations can distribute $7 worth of food to families in need. To learn more about stopping hunger here in Pierce County, go to fishfoodbanks.org. That's fishfoodbanks.org.
Welcome back to BizTech Talk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
Hey, we're here every Tuesday on Clay 1180, and today we're talking with Anthony Hempstad, who is the president and CEO of Tacoma, the World Trade Center Tacoma. And when we left, we were talking about things that they're doing and the nuts and bolts of how a company gets involved with the World Trade Center and what they can do. And we think we're talking a little bit about the STEP grant and what that is and so forth. So tell a little bit more about the STEP grant and the process of getting one and what it does for you.
Right, and STEP grants, it's a temporary program, so it's around now and through this year. It may not be next year and beyond. Part of
so get it now before they step off with it.
Yes, no, good point. Yes, a couple years ago, the president announced a national export initiative to double U.S. exports in the next 5 years. and actually exports have been growing pretty quickly in the last 2 years. It'll be tough to double. I mean, doubling's a big deal, but it is growing steadily.
What's our total number right now that we're hitting right now?
Right now, total exports last year were about $2.1 trillion.
In relation to our imports, how's that?
Total imports were about 2.6 trillion. So it's a trade deficit of about a half
a trillion.
A half trillion. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, chump change, no problem. We got that covered,
Yeah,
right? Let's do it. America can do it. We can do it.
Yeah,
I heard that somewhere.
But yeah, important to really work on increasing those exports and at some point hopefully turn around what has been a trade deficit, a significant trade deficit for basically the last 30 years to something that's closer to even or even a trade surplus.
So really what we're saying is the more we have in, then the more money we get coming back from abroad instead of giving it away. Because, I mean, most of our economic development is helping the rest of the world rather than coming back here.
Well, right. But of course, imports can be very good for the economy, too.
Of course,
if you can import something much more cheaply than you can make it locally, I mean, that's a subsidy to the economy, too.
Well, but are we playing on a level playing field as far as imports versus exports and dealing with taxes and
tariffs
so forth?
and things like that.
Right. And definitely more work needs to be done in different areas, and that's well beyond what we work with at the World Trade Center. But to make sure that it is a level playing field.
Now,
because
So you guys are not a lobbying group or?
No, we are apolitical, and people do.
Well, that's nice to hear in this day and age.
Yeah. Right. People do confuse us sometimes with the World Trade Organization, which we are similar to, but they actually do the negotiations on bigger international trade discussions globally. But we help trade. We don't do the negotiations or that policy part of it. No.
Oh, excellent. So tell me, when just say we're going to offer a service, and I'm a small business and so forth. Do I have to worry about tariffs, and what are the other things that I might, and what are those, and what kind of things do I have to worry about with regard to that?
Yeah, there are every product and many services fit into different tariff categories, and they're.
To explain to everybody what a tariff is for those people who might not understand what a tariff is.
Yes, it's a import tax that local countries put on different products, and generally those tariffs have been dropping pretty steadily over the last few.
And the reason they do this is why? Ostensibly for.
Yeah, tariffs are done a couple different reasons. One, as a tax, to bring in income for the local government, and also sometimes they're done to protect the local industry that's doing a similar thing. So,
and we do the same thing here when we bring stuff in. So
right,
I think we have those kinds of things for our. Lots of different industries here, right?
Right. Yes.
Helps to support them so they don't get things that are dumped on the market, so to speak.
Right. And unfortunately, lots of negotiations go into tariffs between countries. And if recently, for instance, there's a finding about some products that were that the tariff going into China was too high. China didn't agree with that, and then slapped a bunch of tariffs on a variety of other U.S. products, including Washington State cherries, which impacted our cherry growers as well. They had nothing to do with a dispute whatsoever, but they got caught in the crossfire.
Political upheaval and all that. So
right.
In other words, we need to understand completely, and you're going to help us understand what kind of nuances that we have to wade through, if you will, from the tariff perspective, and that's part of the service, right?
Right.
What is it going to cost me to do that for you?
Yeah, we're a membership-based organization. Membership is, we think, very cheap, $250 a year for 12 months. And
yeah, I know some organizations are a lot more than that. So business? That's really not bad at all.
Yeah, it is regardless of the size of the business, and that gets you access to all the training opportunities that we have. We have awards programs as well.
So when you say awards programs, okay. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Well, we have our biggest event of the year coming up just in a couple of weeks, the Global Awards on September 6th. Global Awards, it's become the biggest annual trade celebration in Washington State.
Oh, it's a pretty big deal. Tell us more about it.
It is, yeah. More than 400 people come every year. It's kind of a who's who in international trade in Washington State. We recognize several different categories of companies and individuals.
Are the tickets affordable?
We think so. Yeah.
I'm talking. Is it like this $500 seat thing?
Well, it's not quite that bad, but for non-members it's $125. For members it's $100.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
And probably get chicken dinner, right?
It'll be something good.
Now, are you guys growing?
We are, yeah. Locally, we have quadrupled our membership in the last 3+ years, and that's been great because if our private side hadn't been growing, if we hadn't been getting so many new companies that are joining, it would be difficult because our public support is dropping as local governments
their cash is shrinking.
Right.
Well, who are some of your financial?
Well, before we go to that, Mel, I want to actually know a
right.
little bit more about what kind of awards you're giving out because we haven't really finished on that. So tell us a little bit about those awards before we move on.
Okay. Yes, we're recognizing a couple of public officials as well this year. Sam Reed, who is our Secretary of State, he's retiring this year, and Sam's been great on international trade, and all of Sam's.
He's the most apolitical Republican I've ever met.
Yes. His trade missions we put together at the World Trade Center Tacoma. So he's been to several different countries before, helping to open those economies for Washington State companies. So we're recognizing his lifetime achievement. Also Norm Dix, who's also retiring this year, and
he's been fantastic for the community as well.
He has, and Norm has been a real leader on trade over his
among
his
other
long
things,
career.
right?
Yes. What a great leader for the community here. And then companies. We're recognizing Bowman as the exporter of the year. Bowman is actually by far the single biggest exporter in the United States.
Well, you buy one plane, it gets pretty expensive.
Yes, exactly.
Not like one plane. I mean, I got to sell a lot of computers to get there.
Right. Yes. And surprisingly, Bowman hasn't won this award before.
Very good.
So they'll be winning that this year. We have a service provider of the year because one of the areas that is really, really growing quickly in trade is services. People think, you put stuff in containers and you ship it, but computer services, financial services, other services, and a company down in Thurston County called Access to USA. They're a fairly new company and doing lots of business actually on the EB-5 visa program of basically attracting foreign investors into the United States, and that's some innovative things that they've been doing. And they're one of the leaders in the U.S. and they just started this a couple years ago.
Now I'm assuming since we're announcing these on the air, they already know.
Yes.
And so this isn't a big secret.
Right.
Otherwise,
they do know. They do know.
Really. Hey guys, that way you get them to come.
Yeah. Well, right. And then there's one other company, Gracon, which is a company based up in Seattle, and that category is importer of the year. And trade is a two-way street. If we didn't do imports, we couldn't do exports. And imports can help the economy in a variety of ways, but we're recognizing Gracon as well.
Well, that's amazing. So,
I'm sorry. And then we do have a local company, Tacoma company, Johnny's Fine Foods.
Johnny's. I love it, man. Johnny's. You don't have it on anything. You don't have a steak. You don't have a steak.
Right. And to be honest, I didn't realize Johnny's exported. But Johnny's, they just started getting into this. So while Johnny's been around forever, and we've all eaten at Johnny's. And
anybody in the Pacific Northwest knows what Johnny's seasoning salt is all about.
Right. But their seasoning salt and a bunch of their other seasonings.
They've got a ton of nice products.
They're now exporting that, and it's growing like gangbusters.
Now, where are they primarily exporting to?
They've teamed up with Costco, which can be a great way to do it for small to medium-sized businesses that don't want to open up their own offices in different places. Find a distributor who's going out anyway. get into their distribution line, and then boom, you can move a lot of volume. And Costco
Really,
moves volume.
They've got that big, shaker of Johnny's. I buy it all the time.
Now,
yes.
Now, Anthony, is that something that maybe the Trade Center do you guys help make those introductions?
Sure we do. And we've helped to connect local companies with some of these big distributors. Costco is a very active member of the World Trade Center Tacoma, as is SuperValue. SuperValue International is actually headquartered here in Tacoma.
Well, Costco's right up the street too.
Yeah, right. And some of their founders came from Tacoma here.
Yeah. So what do the people have to do to compete for these awards? I mean, they just how do you discover who's going to be that person that you choose for each one of those awards?
Right. No. They're annual awards, and they're open to non-members of the World Trade Center as well. We encourage people to join, but they don't have to join. If your company has a great story about and for the Global Awards, you have to be a Washington State-based company, or have a very large percentage of your employees here in Washington. So Boeing, for instance, we call a Washington company when technically, maybe they're Delaware or Illinois, but they have 80,000 employees here, and their products primarily come from here. But and there is an application process. You can find it online on our website, www.wtcta.org. Lots of information on the Global Awards and other programs there.
What about trade missions? What's that all about?
Yeah.
Also, and are there any coming up soon?
Yes. Trade missions, that's a great way to put a toe in the water, to see a country that you might be interested in trading with, to meet some potential business partners. Because if you don't go there, it's much more difficult to actually
establish a relationship.
There. Yeah. And we work with local World Trade Centers in different countries to make sure that the members that go with us on trade missions get the right meetings with the right people on so that they're likely to actually have fruitful business together in the future.
And this is a little bit beyond the kiss, bow, or shake hands type of thing, right?
Yeah. A trade mission will usually be a week or more, and so you're in the country, and obviously you're not going to become an expert on a country in a week or two, but you know a heck of a lot more than you do if you've never set foot in there before. And when you can look at someone across the table, talk to them, that business is going to go much further along than if you're doing it by emails or phone calls.
Do you help vet those individuals on the other side so that we make sure that the people that are going over there are saying, well, hey, you look good in person, but how do we know that you've got a good business record and a track record that we can follow through with?
Yes, we do vet them ahead of time and with our partners in those local countries.
Now, how do businesses protect themselves? Can you talk a little bit about that as far as doing business overseas?
Yeah, well, there's a wide variety of things that the company should do to protect themselves. Intellectual property protection can be a big issue, and in some countries with some products, that might be your first hire is a good lawyer too, to make sure your IP protection is there. Also on getting paid, because if you're not getting paid for your goods or services, I mean that's just charity, and of course most companies would prefer not to be doing that. So variety of different ways you can make sure that you're getting paid too, and we can consult on
that would be a bummer to lay your money over there and say I can't send Guido.
Yeah.
Well, unless of course you're in Italy.
Speaking about getting paid.
Sorry, that was just a joke, my friend.
Speaking about getting paid, why don't we go to break?
Excellent.
Take a little break here, and then we'll come back and we'll continue this discussion. And you listen to BizTech Talk on Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Few things say more about your business than the quality of the photos in your ads and on your website. Corporate photographer Rick Doms specializes in custom photography for discriminating corporations around the world and right here in Tacoma. Rick's photos have graced the pages of Forbes, Fortune, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and the marketing materials of a host of great American companies. Companies like yours. See what Rick Doms photography can do for your business on the web at rickdoms.com. RICKDAHMS.com.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at AimBiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to AimBiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Be a part of Tacoma's Waterfront Association, a dynamic organization dedicated to making Tacoma's waterfront a great place to visit and do business. Join them the second Wednesday of each month from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Crow's Nest at the Tacoma Yacht Club to hear exciting guest speakers and see what's happening on the waterfront. Be a part of the community strength. Make a difference along Tacoma's magnificent 46 miles of waterfront. For more information or to become a member of the Tacoma Waterfront Association, visit tacomawaterfront.org.
In Pierce County, 17% of residents are food insecure. That's 1 in 6 people who are unsure where their next meal is coming from. Someone you know is going hungry. What can you do about it? Help support Fish Food Banks of Pierce County. For every dollar received, Fish's 8 food bank locations can distribute $7 worth of food to families in need. To learn more about stopping hunger here in Pierce County, go to fishfoodbanks.org. That's fishfoodbanks.org.
Welcome back to BizTechTalk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
Hey, don't forget, every Tuesday, noon to 1, we're right here. And don't forget to load our shows on your iTunes, from iTunes, and from our website at biztechtalk.net. And, hey, we're here with Anthony Hempstad. He is the president and CEO of World Trade Center Tacoma. And we're talking about how we can get small businesses to export their goods and services overseas and what those World Trade Center organizations around the country can do for you.
Yeah, and we were talking about protecting ourselves and talking about some of those trade missions. And do you have any of those trade missions coming up?
Yeah, we do, Mel. In November, we're partnering with the Washington Vietnamese Chamber of Commerce in doing a trade mission to Vietnam. Vietnam, people are saying, is kind of the next China, and China's grown so much over the last few decades. Vietnam is really hitting that right now too, and big Vietnamese American community here in Washington State, big one here in Lakewood as well. And actually, we do have several Vietnamese Americans going on that trip. We still have space on that trip as well. But great economy.
Can you give us a list of, just to give people a primer for the kinds of things that people might want to think about exporting to Vietnam, from here? Is there anything that you might think of that, could spark some interest from the folks out here?
Well, currently, Vietnam's buying a wide variety of different products from Washington State. They're doing a lot in infrastructure right now, and so also companies like design companies, engineering companies, so services.
So services, so you take your bridges, and we have a lot of architects and engineers and civil engineers and so forth right here in Tacoma.
Well, and that's been a hard-hit industry.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, certainly. And that also points up kind of the importance of thinking internationally and looking at export opportunities, because often other countries are in different business cycles than we are. And so right now, obviously, it's not a booming economy here in the U.S., but it's a heck of a lot easier to sell your goods or services in countries that are growing 6 or 8 or 10% a year.
And in our design industry, I think we have some of the leading design standards throughout the planet, and that might be something that people would be welcome in those other countries as well.
Right,
Vietnam included.
Yeah, and those types of services from America are seen as being the gold standard. And so if you have a gold standard and you can't sell it locally, sell it internationally.
Now, with the volatile, international climate, the economy and stuff out there, does it still make sense to get out there and do this?
Sure. There are definitely still countries that are growing very, very rapidly, and like
Well, we're not going to go out there and jump on a grease bandwagon.
Yeah, Greece, unless you're in collections or the like, it's probably not going to be your top. But there are lots of other good choices out there. And
again, you guys can help us determine which ones are better than others.
Yeah. And it makes sense to diversify what you're doing internationally as well as locally.
What about more than one country, by the way? I mean, say a service is doable in more than one country, so you do want to start with one, or could you shotgun?
Well, you probably, depending on the size of the company and how much they want to invest in entering a market, you probably want to start with one first and get that down, but then diversify, because actually almost 70% of those companies that do export right now only export to one country, and they really need to be exporting to more.
So if I'm a company and I'm looking at maybe going on this trade mission to Vietnam and stuff, what is the investment that my company would have to put up to be a part of that?
Yeah, well, we really try to keep our trade missions as inexpensive as possible, and it's about $3,000 for a person to go on this trade mission, and that includes 5-star hotels, it includes flights. They'll need some spending money on their own there, but that's for 2 weeks in Vietnam. And
treated pretty well.
Oh yeah, and since you're going over on an official delegation, it's all red carpet. And you actually couldn't get, or it'd be hard to get a vacation there for
that kind of money.
Right.
And be treated as well.
Yeah. And there are programs where as long as you're going over and you have a product or service that you're working to export, some of that can potentially be reimbursed for you as well.
What about tourism and education? I was talking to somebody just yesterday who is looking to draw tours into places here in the Pacific Northwest and along the coast.
Right. Tourism and education, those are categorized as export services, and we run a big trade surplus in those kind of exports, and we could do a lot more. And that's the U.S. education system, while it's expensive, higher education system, that is the gold standard globally, and people want to come here to get their college degrees, and that's something that we should probably be working a lot more on attracting these students here. A lot of them are coming on their own accord, of course, but we could do a lot more. And then once they come over, often they decide, oh, well, okay, we want to invest here, we want to do things here.
Given our standing in the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, it seems that I wonder how come other countries want to come here when they're doing such a great job in those areas, and
St. Martin's College
problems.
St. Martin's University has a very rich.
We have a great programs here. We're just not turning out enough.
Right.
We're not turning out enough Native Americans in those programs.
Well, yeah, that's another issue. But yes, I agreed.
Okay. So the U.S. has a large trade deficit. We know that we're talking about how to reduce it. Is foreign investment going to help us with that?
Yes. And traditionally, we've kind of thought of America as a place that puts investment out into other countries. More and more investment is coming back in. I think we're seeing that happen already, but we're going to see a lot more in the coming years, and it's something we should probably encourage.
So why is this foreign investment, important to us?
Yeah, well, foreign investment is another source of capital that can be used locally, and I mean here in the Lakewood Tacoma area, obviously we don't have such a hot real estate market right now, as all of us know. Travel 100 miles to the north, and you go to Richmond, BC, or Vancouver, BC. That's the most overheated real estate market in North America right now, and it's primarily overheated, and we don't want to be overheated, but it's just such a contrast, and that's primarily because of Chinese investment. And Chinese investment over the last couple of decades. But if we can attract some of that, we can do great things for this local economy. And it doesn't need to be a huge amount, but get a few hundred or a few thousand of those investors that are going north. Instead, they come here. That can really help change the investment climate, which realistically isn't great here right now, and it could change a lot with enough investment.
Well, tell us, we're coming towards the end of the hour, and how do we, as business owners, get a hold of you and how we get a hold of our local, again, World Trade Center, wherever that may be.
Right. Well,
Specifically.
yes. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, do give us a call, and our numbers and everything are available on our website. Easiest first
And that
first
website
off
is?
WTCTA.org.
Okay.
And my email and everything is on there. You can find it. Email me directly, and we'll happy to talk to you.
And on your website, you got a list of some of the upcoming classes and different services you provide.
Right. Yeah. And we do something every month on a different training activity, and in some months there are multiple different.
And get your ticket to the Globe Awards. Hey, you can meet some people.
Definitely.
The people
Congratulations to those companies out there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
All great companies.
It'd be great.
Well, Anthony, thank you for joining us today, and it's been great to have you on the show. Learn a little bit about the World Trade Center.
You spent here with us. Our listeners are going to benefit from this in a big way.
Thank you, Darrel and Mel, and it is a great service that you guys are doing on getting information out there.
Okay, well, hey, as always, we want to make sure that we wrap up our show here in the next minute or so to talk about making sure that you remember to seek out veteran-owned businesses wherever you can, dva.wa.gov. And if you're thinking about hiring a vet, Mel talked about a program earlier today. Make sure that you seek out the vet at the Goodwill.
That's your Returning Heroes tax credit, or your Wounded Warriors tax credit.
Yeah, you can get more information about that as well at WorkSource and at Goodwill. They have all the information as well. They're actually doing great jobs to help our veterans get hired. And it's good that we promote that kind of activity. And don't forget, the VA is golf course at American Lake is having a new 9/11 golf tournament to raise money for that
on
program.
September 14th.
It's on September 14th, so it's a couple days after 9/11, but it's a great tournament. And contact them at 253-589-1998 or at their website www.veterangolf.org. It's an awesome course, and I've enjoyed spending some time out there with the folks out there.
Well, yeah, it's a great place to go out and relax, get your mind clean and clear, and just enjoy some of the scenery out there.
100% volunteer run, and I just appreciate the time that they spend out there. They always have a little snack at the table for somebody, and everything is just amazing out there. They do all the greens and lawns. Everything is awesome.
Well, thank you for joining BizTechTalk on Clay 1180.
I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional, saying goodbye.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Are you tired of maintaining or upgrading your business technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office N and Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office N and Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at OfficeNandIcon.com.
In today's economy, doing more with less has become the standard. Feeling overwhelmed or out of control does not have to be part of that standard. If you are looking for improved profitability and better teamwork, West Business Concepts' expertise in sales, organizational development, and finance offers real-world solutions today. West Business Concepts helps you develop clarity and focus on who matters most. Gain an edge over your competition. Visit westbusinessconcepts.com today. That's westbusinessconcepts.com.
Adding video to your website. Don't put it off any longer. Your customers are about 75% more likely to purchase your product after learning about it in a video. Gabe Medina Productions is ready to help you put a face to your business and show your customers why your company is the better choice. We want to work with you because we want to see your business grow. Go to GabeMedinaProductions.com or call 206-250-0735 for more info. That's 206-250-0735.